This is a Gatto Consulting production. Choosing strategically, the importance of bold strategic choices and framework overview. What is strategy? Michael Porter, by far the number one guru of strategy in the world, says strategy is a search for a favorable competitive position in an industry. This next definition by Jeffrey Braddock for the Harvard Business Review builds on that and says strategy is the ways in which competitive advantage will be achieved. This is my favorite definition because it focuses on the most important thing that you must do, which is to build competitive advantage. A concept explained in detail in video 6 of Sister Framework Strategy for Action, and which means competencies that put your company in a superior business position. That's what you must build. This is also my favorite definition because it makes you think that if you don't have a competitive advantage, you don't have a strategy. And remember, to be competitive, the advantage needs to be significantly valuable and sustainable. And to be an advantage, it needs to be different and better. A competitive advantage needs to be a core competence or competencies that you build or improve upon, and that obviously need to be valued by the market. And you should be able to conjure your activities in a way that delivers it and gets you a high return on capital. On the point that those core competencies need to be supported and reinforced by a network of activities, in his seminal 1996 Harvard Business Review article, What is Strategy?, Michael Porter goes on to say that creating fit among the activities of a company is part of what managers need to do to strategize. And that in fact, strategy depends on doing many things right. Strategy can also be said to be a set of guiding choices that an organization makes to be sustainably better than competitors.
Hi, my name is Luis Gatto, and I'm a business manager and a consultant. Does your company have a good strategy? Has it made the right choices? In this program, Choosing Strategically, I will tell you what are the strategic choices you must make and how to make them in a way that can really make a difference. I'll be presenting this in 5 short videos. Thank you for being there, and please continue watching the first video.
Since competitive advantage is about finding ways to do valuable things that others cannot, you must make strategic choices that are strong enough and make a difference. By the way, in all our frameworks, we have tests to make sure that your main strategic choices can make a difference. This work is based on the playbook described in Playing to Win, a book written by Roger Martin, ex-dean of the Rotman School of Business and head of the Monitor consulting firm, and A.J. Lafley, former chairman and CEO of Procter & Gamble. I will also be giving it a slightly different spin, connecting it with my other frameworks. We will start by making the case for the need to make bold choices that can make a difference. Moreover, we will explain why the underlying aspiration of your choices must be to win, and how playing to win can be transformational and even life-saving. We will then give you a crystal clear picture of what strategic choices you must make and how they can be broken into two types of decisions: where to play and how to win. And then comes the actual framework on how to make strategic choices. Sometimes you do come to strategic crossroads. It might be the case that you're faced with multiple options, and it could even be that your team is divided and you need to find a way to go forward. That's what we will find later in this program. Finally, we will tell you how to know when it's time to change your choices and how to incorporate strategic thinking into the everyday life of your company. So let's get right to it with a why and how to make bold choices. As I said, strategic decisions need to make a difference, and we have tests in our frameworks to make sure that your choices are strong enough. For instance, after defining your competitive advantage and the core competencies that will enable them, we will evaluate them versus those of your competitors and the critical success factors that you must master. Let's watch Roger Martin describing how to make sure you have really made a strategic choice and explaining what it's supposed to do.
I'm a sort of a stickler on what kind of a choice is a strategic choice. For me, when I read most strategic plans, the vast majority of strategic plans, they'll have choices like our choice is to be customer centric, or our choice is to be operationally effective, or our choice is to value our talent. And a test I do to see whether it's actually a real and useful strategic choice is to ask the question, what is the opposite of the choice? So choice to be customer centric, the opposite would be a choice to ignore our customers. And if the opposite is stupid on its face, then you haven't made a strategic choice. You've just made a choice not to be stupid. So operationally effective, well, the opposite would be operationally pathetic. Well, who does that and stays in business? Value our talent, to not care at all about our talent. Who does that and stays in business? So those aren't strategic choices. And those choices are not going to compel the action by customers that you would like.
Are your choices making a difference? You wouldn't be watching this video if you wanted to be lame and not distance yourself from the pack. On the next video, we will explain why your choices need to be bold and must enable you to win. This is a Gato Consulting production. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe. There are plenty of new videos coming up.